I can tell that you're not watching. You didn't watch any of my solo stuff because I talked about this on one.
I'm sorry, my house almost caught on fire, so
You're
I'm
right.
just. I'm just.
You're right. You got that. You got that.
I'm actually thinking you're acting different, manic, spitting sounds of manic depressant.
There's this, like, I have to call it, right? You know, so after the protest, we have seen, like, New York Times has a ticker on the coronavirus thing, right? So literally after George Floyd, you see a spike, right? Because people could not social distance, right? And, you know, so a lot of people weren't wearing masks. That's what happens. You have a lot of people and mask is not the end all be all. Like, you could still spread it, right?
Yeah.
So we're seeing a huge spike. The news outlets don't talk about that, right? Because they don't talk about like that because they're going to fear that would bring down the Black Lives Movement, which I think the thing is, and of course it would, because people can't get their heads out their butt and realize, look, this was necessary, but this was a bad result of what needed to be done, right? So they're gonna say, oh, we can't talk about this because it's basically blaming this. No, it's just a natural thing. If you put a lot of people we've been talking about staying 6 feet away. We ain't seen that. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
you know what's funny is go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So then they talk about CNN, like all the news outlets. I don't even watch Fox, but they were talking about, you know, and people were making fun of Tulsa of this guy's Trump's rally in Tulsa that hardly anybody went to.
Yeah.
Right. Then I'm seeing stories. They're saying, oh, people got corona
from the rally. Yeah.
From this rally that not that many people went to.
Yeah.
And it's being attributed. Like, dude.
Keep the same energy. You can't make fun of it for being empty and then say that it's causing cases to spike.
Yeah, and it's, to me, that bothers me, man.
Yeah, no, I can tell that you're not watching. You didn't watch any of my solo stuff because I talked about this on one.
I'm sorry, my house almost caught on fire, so
you're
I'm
right.
just.
You're right. You got that. You got that. You
had that one in the holster.
You had that one. You couldn't wait. It's almost end time, so you decided to let it go. You know, you shot me in the face with it. I talked about this, and I said how one thing happened, though. When the protest first started, cases were already on the way up, okay? Yeah. And it was too early to have linked it to the protest. So just give me a second. Right. It was too early to link it to the protest. So cases were starting to spike because the country reopened too quickly, which everyone with eyes on social media who saw anybody out when we went into the yellow phase knew, well, shit is going to hit the fan. This is not going to go well.
Right.
But to further your point, and I said this on an episode, that there were news outlets saying that they could trace somehow accurately that these cases were not spiking due to the protest. And I was like, how are you tracing that?
Exactly.
What? Like, how did you how did you come up with the science that could all of a sudden, that means we could trace it to patient 0. The first person who had coronavirus, we can find that person.
The monkey that left the lab.
Yeah, the fucking first bat from Ace Ventura that had it, we can find him and shoot him. Somehow we could trace it. Look, and my point was this, look, the protests needed to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
The protests were as important or more important than the existence of the coronavirus. That is the fact. Black Lives Matter is more important than the coronavirus taking lives. It just is the fact. Racism is worldwide and has been for 1,000 years.
Right.
It needed to happen, and we need to be honest about that. Right. But guess what? Y'all were out for sure. Now, and I don't mean y'all in a, shaking my wagging my finger. Yeah. But y'all were out there.
Yeah.
Y'all were 100,000 deep in the middle of the city, yelling, screaming, getting shot up with tear gas and pulling your mask off.
Yeah, with boogers and
cough and spit everywhere. Yeah, man. Guess what? This virus, not only the coronavirus, some of y'all probably left with syphilis and don't even know it by accident. can't even have sex.
Right.
Y'all were
Right.
so close. Of course this was gonna happen.
Of course.
But you can't buy that that they didn't trace not one case of this spike back
Exactly.
to the place
So then,
that
yeah,
had 300,000 people standing within 10 feet of each other. What are you talking about? It's
and then
impossible.
the fact that the Trump rally that you're trying to say only had like 5
It had
people.
36 people. 1,000 walked out with the coronavirus now.
Right.
Come on, man. Keep the same energy. Listen,
Yeah.
it's really going to be the name of the show. I'm going to come up with a thing, the keep the same energy theory.
Yeah, no.
That's what this is. Keep the same energy.
Keep the same energy.
We got to be honest with you. We got to be honest.
And then you know what happens, and this is the problem with this keep the same energy theory, right? Both sides, or if there's a side to choose, will always be mad at the other side for not keeping the same energy. But then they will never keep the same energy from the side. This thing is just like, we're so predictable. Humans are so predictable.
Yeah.
You already know. Like the thing is, it's a set thing. You know, like you know what news outlet is gonna say what. Like you know, Fox is gonna be crazy right, and they're gonna do all the you know. It's just like they're never gonna undermine a lot of the times whatever politician have those views. Like they're gonna put that guy Ted Cruz or whatever, who's like horrendous.
The worst.
Right. He's the worst, right? And so
he's the worst.
You know, like, and then they bring up stuff like, you know, like what's that? You know, this another thing, virtual signaling. Right?
Oh yeah.
He made a video one time, right? And he was talking about it was like a thing that the Democrats were trying to pass, and you know, he was like, "How am I going to read?" You know, like they gave us to this 2 days before. The thing, and of course it's grimy, right? But they both do it. That's why they do it, right?
Yeah, correct.
So it's not like, and so he has like a pile of paper saying that like that's the bill. He's like, how are we gonna do all this? But then, mind you, then he starts talking about everything that's in the bill. I'm like, my man, if you didn't have time,
sounds like you read it.
and there's theatrics too. He has a cigar. This is a rule, by the way. And he's just like he's smoking. He's like, how are we gonna do that? You know, like. I'm like, bro, like this makes you look so bad. Keep the same energy, right?
Correct.
It's true. You need the new podcast has to be keep the same energy.
Yeah, that's what's
and the thing is, people don't even like. We're so bad now that they don't even look at like the whole picture because news you need to be quick.
Yeah.
Right. So like I know there was one time where there's one time where this reporter was saying about the wall, like you know he's like I'm standing at the wall. And, you know, there's no reason why the wall here because there's no people here. The people they're like, that's the whole point. Put the wall and no people come.
Yeah.
it's like you could step into like a pile of, because the thing is like, and that's a problem with like journalism now.
Yeah.
Because now you have this like bias. You can't even look.
It's almost impossible now. Yeah.
Oh, of course. And I don't even know how I could do that naturally.
Yeah.
You know, like how I could not have, like, if I don't like someone, how am I going to print something that's completely just? But yeah, like, it's like, keep the same energy, man. Like, it's just, I can't. Like, it's just horrible. And I can't believe these are adults.
Yeah.
You know, and we talked about how
these are adults.
You know, no. Dude, we ain't that different from when we were kids.
No, yeah, I'm just the older version of my child self.
When you're a kid, you're selfish.
Yeah, I have back problems is all. It's the only difference.
Yeah, no, exactly.
I still have tantrums and whine.
Exactly. Tantrums, whine. You know, we just think, you know, like other things are funnier than, you know, just fart noises. But...
I canceled so many friends when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I'm still doing it.
Yeah, you cancel.
I've been canceling people. This is my culture. It's a culture I founded.
So your thing is being misappropriated.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. I should have trademarked this long ago. I've been canceling people since second grade, bro. Oh, now like him, cancel that motherfucker. I don't want nothing to do with him.
I know, right? No, but yeah, man, it's like, and you know what? I think you know what when I vent sometimes, and like this is a disclaimer. Sometimes I'm just thinking things out.
Yeah.
Out loud. So like I think about it like, and you know, I might think about something I said in the Will Smith thing or, you know, in the Jada. I'd be like, oh, okay, you know, maybe just talking about it, I can maybe like, oh, okay, that makes sense to me, or
Correct.
you know, this is different. And I think that's what part of that there is no understanding with that when you do it in a public forum, right? Like
Correct.
thinking about those type of things. I could change my mind, right?
Yeah.
I could have been ignorant, and then I got more information, and then
No, you know what?
different. It's what called being woke is.
To that point, great that you brought that up, because I actually had this conversation with somebody. Man, what I had this conversation with somebody. We were talking about writing,
Right.
and I told them how the art of writing is lost because you could take a subject. Oh, this person was complaining about some schoolwork when they were in college that this professor would make them do, and I was like, but you know what? In my experience, I've written a lot in my life, not just rapping, but just writing, writing pieces or writing papers for people, in college or whatever, that you could go in, you would go in with a theme. And I was never an organized writer, so I could never stick to my theme. Because as I was writing out my piece, I would come to a different conclusion. Because essentially when you're writing, journaling, and meditating are all the same thing. Writing is a meditative exercise. So you could be writing something and literally talk yourself into a completely different argument from when you started.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with talking. That's why I talk to myself so fucking often. You feel me? Like I have full conversations with myself on a daily, minute by minute basis because you can talk yourself into a different argument. And then Twitter, it's purposely shrunk. It's your first initial thought, and that is it.
Yeah.
Well, if you took that initial thought and expanded it out to 1,500 words, that is, you may disprove that initial thought.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're right. And the thing is, you could.
Won't catch me slipping if I'm actually thinking. You're acting different, manic, spitting sounds of manic, depressing, going through